Initiate sequence. Retrotron Entertainment presents
That 70s Nerd. I explore the hidden depths of 1970s pop culture, from movies and television to books, comics, and magazines, music, toys, and technology. Discover forgotten classics and hidden gems you will not find anywhere else with That 70s Nerd. The Time Machine is a seminal work of science fiction penned by H.G. Wells and published in 1895. This groundbreaking novel follows the journey of an unnamed time traveler who constructs a machine capable of traversing the fourth dimension. Venturing into the distant future, he encounters two divergent species, the passive Eloi and the predatory Morlocks. Through this narrative, Wells explores social and evolutionary themes, critiquing Victorian society's class divisions and contemplating the fate of humanity. The Time Machine not only popularized the concept of time travel in literature, but also established Wells as a pioneer of speculative fiction, influencing generations of writers and thinkers to come. George Pal, born in 1908 in Hungary, was a pioneering filmmaker renowned for his contributions to the science fiction genre. Beginning his career as a puppeteer, Pal swiftly transitioned into animation, creating innovative stop-motion shorts that earned him international acclaim. His move to Hollywood in the 1940s led to the establishment of his own production company, where he produced a series of successful Puppetoon shorts before venturing into feature films. Pal's talent for blending imagination with cutting-edge special effects culminated in iconic sci-fi classics such as Destination Moon, 1950, and The War of the Worlds, 1953. However, it was his adaptation of H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, 1960, that solidified his status as a visionary filmmaker. Throughout his career, Pal's inventive storytelling and pioneering techniques left an indelible mark on cinema, inspiring generations of filmmakers and fans alike. He passed away in 1980, leaving behind a rich legacy of cinematic innovation and imagination. The 1960 George Pal Time Machine stars Rod Taylor as the intrepid time traveler, and features Yvette Mimieux as his captivating love interest Weena. With a budget of around $750,000, the film utilized innovative special effects to bring H.G. Wells' visionary tale to life. Upon its release, The Time Machine garnered critical acclaim and commercial success, grossing over $3 million at the box office. It remains a beloved classic in the science fiction genre, admired for its captivating storytelling, memorable performances, and imaginative portrayal of time travel. The 1978 Time Machine was an American made-for-television science fiction adventure film produced by Sun Classic Pictures, who brought us the notorious mockumentaries The Search for Noah's Ark and The Mysterious Monsters. The Time Machine was a part of their Classics Illustrated series, which included the best film adaptation of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, starring Jeff Goldblum as Ichabod Crane. The Time Machine was broadcast November 5th, 1978, during the November sweeps on NBC. The 1978 Time Machine begins in a similar vein to its predecessor, introducing us to the brilliant and somewhat reclusive inventor, the Time Traveler. However, unlike Rod Taylor's portrayal in the 1960 adaptation, John Beck plays a more overtly heroic and definitely Americanized version of the Time Traveler, here named Dr. Neil Perry. Beck approached the role with a nuanced performance that blends curiosity with a profound sense of determination. Unlike the 1960 George Pal version, the narrative setup in the 1978 film differs drastically from the novel. The Time Traveler is a 1970s scientist working for a fictional US defense contractor, the Mega Corporation. Dr. Neil Perry is described as one of Mega's most brilliant contributors. His skills are demonstrated by rapidly reprogramming an off-course satellite, averting a disaster that could have destroyed Los Angeles. The Time Machine is another area where the 1978 movie diverges significantly from both the novel and the 1960 film. While Wells described a rather minimalist sled-like apparatus, and the 1960 movie presented a Victorian-inspired ornate contraption complete with brass fittings and red velvet, the TV movie opts for a more utilitarian design. This choice reflects the 70s aesthetic, focusing on functionality over form, which aligns with the era's broader design trends seen in films such as Star Wars and Alien. Neil Perry refuses to help the Mega Corporation devise supposedly defensive weapons of mass destruction, and flees in his time machine to discover what effect this new technology will have on the Earth, in hopes of persuading the corporation to cancel their program. Here we have the most radical departure from both Wells and Pal. This is the only adaptation to date to send the time traveler backwards in time, first to the Salem witch trials and then to the gold rush. These episodes are amusing but unnecessary, since Perry specifically sets out to explore the future. Upon arriving in the distant future, the time traveler encounters the Eloi, a seemingly idyllic society living in an apparent utopia. The Eloi, with their gentle demeanor and simplistic lifestyle, represent what might first appear as the pinnacle of human evolution: freedom from struggle and hardship. However, this facade quickly unravels as the time traveler delves deeper into the reality of their existence. The Eloi's world is contrasted starkly with that of the Morlocks, subterranean dwellers who represent the industrial and technological forces that have become the underpinning of the Eloi's surface paradise. The dichotomy between the two societies embodies profound commentary on social division, the consequences of technological advancement, and the inherent human tendency toward inequality. As far as Morlocks go, this ain't bad for low-budget TV. Their faces are clearly pull-over rubber masks, and they wield lightsaber-like daggers, an obvious nod to the previous year's super blockbuster Star Wars. But this is the only adaptation to indicate the socialist-style society of the Morlocks, clothing them in drab communist overalls. A bit on the nose, but effective. In both the 1960 and 2002 adaptations, the Morlocks are portrayed as mutants, more like orcs than anything that was ever human. Wells describes the Morlocks merely as white things with small hands. The time traveler's quest to understand what the future might hold leads him to a terrifying realization about the fate of humanity. His journey into the depths of the Morlock's domain, an act driven by both necessity and a thirst for knowledge, unveils the grim reality that the Eloi are not partners in this society, but rather livestock, maintained for the Morlock's sustenance. This revelation serves as a critical turning point in the narrative, challenging the time traveler and the audience to reflect on the consequences and moral implications of technological and social progress. The 1978 adaptation handles this moment with a focus on the emotional and ethical turmoil it causes, emphasizing the time traveler's internal conflict and his disillusionment with the outcome of human evolution. Like the 1960 adaptation, the character of Weena is used for a romantic subplot. Here, Weena is capably portrayed by Priscilla Barnes, who would go on to replace Suzanne Summers in the sitcom Three's Company. Also, like the George Pal film, the descent into the Morlock's world is used for an extended action sequence with lots of fights and explosions. The culmination of the time traveler's journey is marked by his decision to return to his own time, bearing the knowledge and burdens of what he has witnessed. His return is not merely a physical reversion, but a profound emotional and intellectual journey back to a world that now seems naive in its optimism about the future. Although this is the least of the three adaptations, even the 2002 film is better. It does a better job of utilizing the pessimistic futurism of H.G. Wells to tie the time travel adventure to the modern world. Perry has seen what will happen if the corporation ever builds its apocalyptic weapons, and instead of fleeing that burden, he attempts to address the issue and change the future. The 1978 TV movie concludes just as the novel and other films do, with the time traveler returning to the future of Weena. The 1978 Time Machine is definitely worth seeking out and watching. It is a forgotten and underrated piece of 1970s sci-fi cinema, with decent production values, a solid cast, and the best of intentions. While nothing can eclipse the 1960 George Pal classic, with its beautiful visuals and inventive visual effects, this long-lost version is essential viewing for H.G. Wells fanatics and sci-fi film fans alike. If you love classic 70s sci-fi, you will love Galaxy Astra, Paladin of the Crystal Planet. Hundreds of years ago, the human species abandoned Earth in generational starships and was transported via wormhole to a far-flung galaxy at war. Now humans have been dispersed throughout the stars, but there is still danger lurking in the cold vastness of space. The dread Paralords have returned from exile to threaten the peaceful reign of the Empress of Illumination. Every Retrotron book is painstakingly designed to look exactly like a vintage 70s paperback. Available in paperback and ebook from Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Booksamillion.com, Apple Books, Kobo, and Smashwords. Get your copy today.